Hey, welcome back, everybody. So, obviously, I phoned it in last week. I apologize for that. That was a subpar performance on my part. I promise going forward, they will be better. Not just in the optics of everything. I didn't have anything up there any visuals to give you guys or anything like that. I was in a big hurry. Had a lot going on, so I apologize for that, but also I apologize for my picks. In all fairness, I did tell you up front that I was kind of phoning it in on the picks, so went 2 for 5. Not good. We're going to get better this week. I put a lot of thought into this, put a lot of time into it this week. With that said, this is another tough card to pick. It's really hard. But fear not, I put my homework in, and we will get at least 3 out of 5 on this. I don't guarantee it. Okay, let's get going here. So, the fight of the night, for some reason, I'm sorry, not fight of the night, the main card, for some reason, is 7 or 8 fights long. I've never seen that before. It's always 5 fights. So I'm not sure what's going on there. If ESPN is trying to trying to excuse their ESPN Plus behavior. I guess if you bundle ESPN Plus with the Hulu and Disney thing, kind of makes some sense. Or if you buy a pay-per-view and you pay the extra $20 and you get a year of ESPN Plus for 20 extra bucks, that's a pretty good way to go. But $5 a month for something that most people are not going to watch very much, I don't know. But I digress. So, the reason I bring that is because I'm only picking the top 5 fights. All right, the last 5 fights, which is normally what a main card would be. So, beginning with Paul Craig versus Antigulov. I'm not even going to pronouncing his first name. As always, and I pointed this out to you last week and the week before, depending on what announcer is announcing a fight or talking about a fighter, you get a different pronunciation. So, everybody in the world pronounces Israel Adesanya in that way, except for Brett Okamoto, who pronounces it Adesanya. And I think what may have happened is Adesanya may have told him that it's actually pronounced Adesanya. So he continues on when the whole rest of the world pronounces it Adesanya. Again, I digress. Craig versus Antigulov. So I didn't know a whole lot about Antigulov. I do know Paul Craig. But I did do my homework. I promise you guys, I put a lot into this episode here. So I hope it pays off. Antigulov is a very, very impressive fighter. He's good standing up. And he's really good on the ground. As a matter of fact, his last 2 fights were via TKO, and his prior 3 fights were by submission. So that's very impressive. I watched some highlights. He is a very, very impressive man, and he's got a very good UFC build. And what I mean by that is he's very, very strong, but he's still lean, so he can make weight into a much lower level of division if he cuts weight real well, which he seems to be doing. So I am going with Antigulov on this. And then next up we have Rodriguez, which is Rodriguez, but anytime it's a Brazilian fighter. You get rid of the R and it's pronounced H. So Rodriguez versus Carla Esparza. This is a very prototypical striker versus grappler fight. Carla Esparza is clearly very, very good on the ground, and Rodriguez is how I'm going to pronounce it now. It's just easier on the vocal cords for some reason. Is really a really great striker. A lot of people have kind of likened her to Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Okay, and Joanna is as cringy as her trash talk is a great fighter, and she proved that in the Zhang Weili fight. And Rodriguez is, from what I can tell, she's on her path to have a very good career. So I'm going with Rodriguez. This is a tough fight to pick because it's pick your poison. Does this fight end on the ground or in a stand-up? That's what this fight boils down to. Generally speaking, in the UFC, and it doesn't really seem to be a whole lot of difference, men or women, when there are two fighters that are so equally matched but in different categories, I tend to go with the striker. Doesn't always work out, obviously, because grapplers are still very they have a very good path to victory in the UFC. I mean, we've seen that with the Kelvin Gastelum fight, and he got caught with a heel hook, which nobody's seen coming. I mean, they're just not. If you don't know what a heel hook is, basically when if this is your foot and this is your ankle and this is your knee, basically what they're doing is they're turning it, and it's not really hurting a whole lot down there, but what it can do is it can pop I believe it's your ACL, depending on which way you turn it, but it can snap it, and you don't really notice a whole lot of pain. So they're very dangerous. There's been talk for years about getting rid of them because they are so dangerous and they can be career-ending. So Kelvin Gastelum was right to tap. Jack Hermanson is a beast. I'm getting off track here, but I just wanted to make the point that I'm getting concerned for Kelvin Gastelum right now. 3 fights at 185, and he's lost them all. So I think he's biting off more than he can chew at that weight division. But I digress. The reason I bring that to your attention is because you always pick your poison, and sometimes if you pick the striker, the grappler wins, because the strikers tend to get caught in awkward positions they don't necessarily think about. However, I am going with Rodriguez in that fight. Next up, and I got to tell you, I'm very intrigued by this fight. It's Alexander Gustafsson versus Fabricio Werdum. Fabricio Werdum, an OG. Alexander Gustafsson, coming out of retirement, moving from lightweight to heavyweight. This is a very intriguing fight. This is Alexander Gustafsson. I'll just say Gustafsson. His very first fight at heavyweight. So, and this to me, if there is a lock in my picks here, it's this fight here. Fabricio Werdum is he's doing well. His last fight against Alexander Olenek did not go well at all. He looked very poor in that fight. To me, this seems like a pretty easy pick. So I'm going with Alexander Gustafsson. Alexander Gustafsson is a tremendous striker. Tremendous striker. So I just can't see. And he's decent on the ground. He really is. He's always known for a stand-up, but he's not bad on the ground. He did very well with John Jones. Matter of fact, a lot of people thought that Gustafsson won that fight. So then we have Nojira versus Rua. Shogun, come on, man. No, seriously, this could be a snoozer. This really could be a snoozer. Rua's a legend, man. He is a legend. And he's fought in just about every promotion there is. But, yeah, you know what? I'm going to go with Rua on this. And since this is one of the last two fights, I always try to give you a path to victory. I'm going to go with Rua by knockout. Yeah. Rua by knockout. As a matter of fact, I might put a couple bucks on that. If you bet, and I'm sure a lot of you are aware of this if you are bettors, if you bet and you pick the proper round and path to victory, especially, but if you just pick the correct round, your odds are very, very thick and heavy, so it tends to pay well. So yeah, let's go Rua by knockout. Next up, I gotta tell you, I cannot believe with Gustafsson and Verdum, Nojira and Rua and Till and Whitaker, this could almost be a pay-per-view, and I love when this happens. I really do, man. Okay. So Darren Till versus Robert Whitaker. This is by far the hardest fight to pick on the card, by far. I'll tell you right up front who I'm picking, but it's going to require a little bit of explanation. I'm taking Robert Whitaker in this fight. I'm concerned that Darren Till, as hard as that weight cut is for him to get to 170, because he's now fighting at 185, as tough of a weight cut as that is, he hasn't done well at 185. And that fight against Kelvin Gastelum that he had, oh my goodness, that was a snooze fest. 185 fight should never, ever, 185s and welterweights should always be the most exciting fights of the night. You get to heavyweight, it's generally going to end with a knockout, right? You get to light heavyweight, just about the same thing, but they just don't move very quickly at 205 by comparison to 185 and 170. They just those fights should always be exciting, and the fact that fight with Gastelum and Darren Till, that should have been a banger, and it was an absolute snooze fest. I remember Yoel Romero and Israel Adesanya, snooze fest. They were literally standing there just looking at each other for 10-15 seconds at a time. It was I could not believe my eyes when I was watching that. Matter of fact, Kelvin Gastelum didn't even throw anything until the last round. So as I said, I'm picking Robert Whitaker. His only loss is, since he's had the belt, was to Israel Adesanya. And also, we all know about Whitaker's history. He was going through some serious depression. And it good for him to bring that to the forefront and, talk about it in the open, as openly as he was. He was very, very open about it. There's this with men, especially in a fight like, or in a sport like the UFC and NFL and basketball and hockey. Baseball doesn't matter. These guys are not allowed to talk about things like that, and so good for him. I'm very happy because I've personally suffered from depression and anxiety and things like that, and it took me a lot of work to some people wonder, well, how do you get in front of a microphone and speak to thousands of people at a time, thousands of people from my other channel, and that only comes because I'm a musician and I'm kind of used to crowds, but when I go out, I am a bit of a hermit. It might surprise some of the people watching this to know that, but I don't enjoy being around other people. I don't know why that is, but it's just the truth. It's just the way it is. So the fact that he brought that out, and I apologize, guys, I didn't show you that, but it's not really a big deal. We're talking about it anyway. But I'm so happy and proud of Robert Whitaker for doing that. But that's not why I'm picking him. I'm picking him because of Darren Till's history at 185, and also because his only loss, Robert Whitaker's only loss since he's had the belt, was to Israel Adesanya, who is the current champion and looks to be unbeatable. So this is on one hand, it's a very tough fight to pick because Darren Till has that one punch KO power. Absolutely has that kind of power. But I've also seen Robert Whitaker take on Yoel Romero and Israel Adesanya, and the guy doesn't go down. He's a tough son of a bitch, man. He really is tough. So, yeah, we're going with Robert Whitaker. Let me think about that for 1 second. The means in which which Darren Till goes down. I'm caught between a decision and let's go with a decision. We'll go with a decision for Robert Whitaker, and I feel pretty good about that. I feel pretty good about all of these, quite frankly. I mean, the reality is the only one that I think is an easy pick is the Gustafsson fight versus Verdum. Other than that, I mean, the Paul Craig versus Antigulov and Rodriguez against Esparza and Nogueira versus Rua. These are tough fights to pick, and all for different reasons, So, but before we close this out, you guys, to anybody that's watching, all 13 of you, and by the way, thank you guys so much for continuing to watch. This channel really isn't for anything other than my enjoyment, and the fact that you guys are watching this with me, and it just it means a lot to me because I know that this will never take off, and the fact that you guys are hanging with Dirty a little bit, let me spout off about UFC stuff. I truly appreciate you guys supporting that, clicking the like button. All you guys are hitting the like button and everything. And I seriously, I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. So thank you. Now, next week, there are no fights. I'm pretty sure there are no fights next week. So here's the thing, and I'm currently working on this. I'm going to be doing some fighter profiles. And I think this is going to be really cool. Now, I have to do it in a way that I don't get blocked for copyright. And I already have the first fighter that I'm working on right now. It's going to take a long time to put these together, okay? A long time, because I'm going to take you from the very first fight all the way till their most current fight. All right, we're going to do a fighter profile. We're going to show you highlights of all of their best work. And like I said, I've started one already, and it's a lot of work because I don't want to say that out loud, but I have to get these pieces of footage. We'll say that. So I have to do it in real time. It's a tough thing to put together, but because they're a lot of work, and I will wait until we put the first one out, put the feelers out with you guys, see what you think about it. But I don't see a whole lot of this. There are obviously highlight reels for every fighter, in every sport. There are highlight reels, but I'm going to do this one a little bit classier. They're not just, screen grabs and that's it, and I'm going to kind of put it together nicely. So once you see that first one coming out, and no, I'm not telling you, once you see that first one come out, first of all, please let me know what you guys think. And then also tell me which fighter you want me to do next. So I hope you guys enjoy that. I don't know when that will be done. It's probably going to be at least 2 or 3 more weeks. It takes a lot of time, and I don't have a lot of time during the day. But when I do have time, I'm doing just that. So I hope that works out, and I hope you guys enjoy that. And I do really want you to let me know if it's worth all of the effort that I'm putting into it. And also, now the nice thing about doing something like that, though, is that it will bring other people into the channel that may not even know that this channel exists. And that's not necessarily the MO here, but at the same time, if we can get a few thousand people on the channel to watch me spout off about a bunch of UFC nonsense, that's pretty cool. So, but anyway, you guys will see that. Please hit the like button. Please hit the notification bell, especially when I start doing these fighter profiles. That way you'll see them right away. You can watch it and give me some feedback on it. Everybody that's currently watching this channel right now, I don't know, there's like 70 people here right now. They all came from my other channel. So currently speaking, I trust all of you guys because I know you guys are real true supporters of me. And again, I appreciate it very much. All right. I will see you guys here. I don't know what we're going to do next week, but I will be doing something, even though there won't be any fights for the following week. Obviously, there won't be any picks, but what we may do is start talking about UFC 252, Cormier versus Stipe. And that is going to be a war and a legendary fight and history making. So I will see you guys soon. All right. Peace.